Hi you guys! Alright, this video is not going to be edited at all because I just don't have time. It's Monday morning and I have a big final project kind of thing due for class tonight by midnight, and I have to get going to get to work and make up hours, so I'm just trying to run through this as fast as I can. So I realized that every time I tell you guys what I'm going to read for the month, I totally don't stick to it, or I loosely stick to it, but I still think it's interesting to put my intention out there, and then hopefully at the end of the year I'm mostly doing these videos for myself to kind of see what my reading patterns are like and my tendencies and all of that. So I'm just going to keep going even though I know that I'm not going to read 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 books in August, although I did read 10 books in July, so you never know. Alright, so let's start with the boring ones first. My school books. So I have Sex Segregation in Librarianship, Demographic and Career Patterns of Academic Library Administrators. I've already read the conclusion for a project, but I kind of want to skim through the whole book and just read all of it. So I don't know if I'm going to get through that in August, but it would be good if I could. And one other school book, Writing and Publishing, the Librarians Handbook. I actually really like reading this book. I don't know about you guys, but I'm one of those people who the literal physical feel of the book affects how much I like the book, and I really like the physical feel of this book, and I like how it's really big, but also kind of thin, and just the way it's laid out, you can kind of see here, it's almost more like article style, and so it feels really fast, like you're reading through the columns, and it's by a bunch of different writers, and they have so many different topics, like writing a newspaper column, press kits and news releases, writing about diversity in books, what I learned at Book Expo, treat yourself as a patron. So there's just a lot of really cool different little tidbits of information. So I've been reading through this and taking a lot of notes because I love writing and I want to write and I want to get published, and that'd be cool. So one more kind of school-related book here is, it doesn't have the cover for some reason because I got it from the library and I guess they took off the cover, the book jacket, but it's called Double Bind. I'm loving this book so far. It's also by a bunch of different writers who all submitted essays for the book, and it's women writers. They're not all actually writers, I don't think, but it's women on ambition. And yeah, it's just a bunch of women writing about ambition, and I'm really loving this book, so I'll tell you more about it when I'm done reading it. So for my book club this month, the pick was Jane Austen at Home, a biography by Lucy Worsley. And I actually started a little blog for my book club, so I'll put the link to that below here. But this book is pretty thick, but I need to finish reading it actually kind of soon. And by finish, I mean start and finish, because I've read 26 pages so far. I'm not personally a big Jane Austen fan, but our book club just rotates and everyone gets a chance to pick a book by a woman. So this was the choice by one of my classmates who's in the book club, and it's good to get pushed out of your comfort zone. But I don't normally read biography, and to read a biography that's kind of dense about someone who I don't really know much about or care about too much is going to be interesting. But one thing that's cool about this book is it's the 200th anniversary of Jane Austen's death, which you've probably heard already or know if you're watching a book video right now. But this says, this new telling of the story of Jane's life shows us how and why she lived as she did, examining the rooms, spaces, and possessions that mattered to her, and the way in which home is used in her novels to mean both a place of pleasure and a prison. It wasn't all country houses and ballrooms. In fact, her life was often a painful struggle. So that's a really cool perspective to take, so I do look forward to reading that, actually. I am finally ready to revisit The Hour of Land by Terry Tempest Williams. I'm about a third or a quarter of the way in, and I've been reading this for a long time, but I haven't picked it up for a long time, to be honest. The Yoga Sutras of Patanjali is the same kind of scenario. I'm this far in. I've been reading it for more than a year, probably, but each sutra is just a little line or two, and then this person explains it. So it's kind of slow going, or I like to go slow and just absorb what one is before moving on to the next one. But I'm going to a yoga teacher training, so I think I'm going to bring this with me and read a couple of them during the training. Lots of books by a lot of different people this time. Speaking of which, here's another one, The X-Files and Philosophy, The Truth is in Here. So this book has some women authors or writers, but not as many as I would have liked, but I really like The X-Files. I feel like I might have mentioned that here before. And I really like philosophy too, so this is just a fun pop culture meets philosophy book to read that you can read in little snippets as well. So I'll probably keep reading that. I started it last month. I'm only 20 pages in. And I just came back from Seattle, as I said, and on the plane I read about 100 pages of The Universe in Your Hand, A Journey Through Space, Time, and Beyond You'll notice that a lot of these books are not actually by women. I need to do a tally and see like how I'm doing on reading mostly books by women. But this one I just couldn't resist. It's like the cutest book, and it's really cool. Like, I mean cute like the cover, but it's also really cool. It's like a guy who works with Stephen Hawking, just a guy, a PhD, obviously, from, I think, Cambridge University, and he kind of, like, explains lots of scientific, cool stuff about the universe in very, very easy-to-understand terms. Last two books here I just mentioned in my what I read in July, that I started reading The Time Quintet by Madeleine L'Engle, so I'll probably start reading the next one. I really like reading this kind of, like, just before bed, because it's really easy. It's made for kind of, like, kids and teens. So it's easy to just like read a little bit and not feel like, it's hard when you're tired. You just kind of want to like do a little something before going to sleep. So I'll probably start reading that. And then lastly, last month I also started reading this book called On Trails in Exploration. And this book is just really awesome. This is like totally the kind of book I love. It's kind of like just a multidisciplinary look at a topic, like a random topic, and the topic here is trails. And so he kind of goes across time and disciplines to discuss it. I'll get more into it later when I've read more of it, because I've only read about 60 pages so far. But this is really cool, and all my like hiking and stuff that I've been doing lately inspired me to read this. And if you're interested in that kind of stuff, you can follow me on Instagram. There's also a link for that below. So I kept it under 7 minutes. I feel like that's still really long. Sorry for talking so fast. If I'm not talking fast enough, don't forget you can always speed up the video underneath with that little like wheel-looking icon thing. If I'm talking too fast, you can also slow it down. Thanks so much for watching. I'll let you know how I do with all these 10 books, and let me know what you plan to read for the last home stretch of summer. All right, happy reading. Talk to you soon.